So I slowly but surely am making a actual scripted video that I put time and effort into. But I've been watching the impeachment hearings, and I thought I would, give my take on it. I'm home for the holidays. I did not bring my pop filter with me, so I apologize if my audio quality sucks. But I think it should be okay. I'm a reasonable distance from my microphone. The Democrats are idiots, man. It's really hard to quantify idiocy, but I feel like if you could, the people at the top of that bar might be the Democratic strategists. They're actually, ironically, the worst people that Democratic candidates should be listening to for the 2020 elections. So what do I think of impeachment? Simply put, I think it's a waste of time, money, political capital, and my life because I have to watch it. I did not watch the original hearings that brought witnesses forward. I read a lot of articles about them, but I didn't really see any of the clips, so I'm not going to comment too much on how I feel the witnesses are, but rather the political realities of the situation, which is that Republicans control the Senate. They have already said that there would not be a Senate trial, despite the impeachment hearings not even being over. Trump may be guilty of the weird bribery and obstruction accusations that are being thrown at him, but the reality is that it doesn't matter because ultimately it's a technicality. No one in swing states or really any state that isn't a Democratic Party loyalist cares about a phone call with the president of Ukraine. They don't care about Trump investigating Joe Biden. Hell, most of them probably don't even like Joe Biden. This is at a time where something like 40% of American adults can't afford a $400 emergency, 50% make $30,000 a year or less, 70% live paycheck to paycheck. All of those people have common realities that can be appealed to in an election, and the Democratic Party is in the perfect position to be making those appeals. Very basic things such as Medicare for all, such as tuition-free college, such as subsidized housing, even universal basic income, though I have serious criticisms of it. All of those things can appeal to voters whose financial well-being has been completely trampled upon despite their increasing productivity and despite the massive economic growth that we've seen. But instead, the Democrats have decided to mount an opposition against Trump without making the donors mad. In other words, they have chosen some fake scandal, or at the very least, the least politically substantive scandal, in that they don't have to talk about policy, not really. They don't have to talk about the realities of the American people in a way that would anger the donors. They simply have to say how much they hate Trump, and they've elected to do that instead of talking to the realities of the American people and of the world as a whole. Instead of impeaching the president, which, to be clear, could work, I don't think that there are many instances where it would work well for the Democrats, and I don't think there are any instances in which Trump would actually be removed from office, but I think that impeachment hearings could work if it were an emoluments case, if it were an imperialist war crimes case, if it were revolving or surrounding the crimes of ICE, immigration, customs enforcement. Any of those things a case could be made to the American people through news outlets and through social media that the president has failed his job, and yet they chose the one that is least effective. And again, I think that mostly has to do with the fact that they aren't willing as a party to actually talk about realities facing the American people. I don't have a lot more to say about it than that. I just wanted to sort of vent, talk about my frustration at the Democratic Party. It's a little weird. I am not a Democrat by any stretch of the imagination. I'm far, far further left than the Democrats, and as such, I don't identify with them as a party. But as somebody who's pretty much a straight ticket Democratic voter, because I do view them as better than the Republicans, and their incrementalist policies I view are more desirable than sweeping changes in the opposite direction. Because of that, every time an election starts coming around, I will probably have the same attitude as a Democrat or a Democratic loyalist, in that I want the Democratic Party to win. I still have my political principles, and they are far different from the Democratic Party platform, but I still look at polls, and I hope to see like likelihoods of the Republican Party losing seats or the presidency or what have you. And because of that investment that I have in this election, seeing them go down this route where they choose the least politically convenient, or rather the least politically effective method of opposing President Trump, it just hurts, man. Like, it hurts because I can see the election more and more swaying towards a Trump victory and 4 more years of this fucking garbage. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much more to say than that. Thanks for listening. So a little update. I'll try to have this video out tonight, December 18th, 2019. The House ended up adopting both articles of impeachment, as I'm sure has graced everyone's push notifications. The sort of like sadness / defeat / dread of the upcoming elections sort of hit me when I watched the vote live, which is why I'm sort of adding this into the video. Also, to correct a slight thing, I guess it is a lot more possible that there's a Senate trial than I implied in the first recording. That said, I am still pretty much 100% sure that there are absolutely no instances or outcomes in which the president actually ends up getting removed from office. So that path of victory is impossible, and the electoral path of, well, victory, as much victory as we can get right now, seems less and less probable as the Democrats get more and more committed to the strategy. So, a lot of solemnity here, I guess. Thanks for listening.